Hey, just wanted to talk about the little bit of creepiness that happened to me on the road. So I stayed at a KOA the first 3 nights or 2 nights. I had gotten a free stay there. Now, of course, I have to pretend that I'm staying in a tent. Granted, it was like rainy out, but I had gotten some help from one of the security guards at the place. Now, this guy was, well, he was kind of not quite there, not quite right. I think he might have been a little slow, which there's nothing wrong with that. But uh, he was also he just kind of creeped me out to begin with. um, so it's the middle of the night. It's like he set me up with my tent at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. It was already late. So I went to bed and I woke up at about 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was very cold. So I turned on my car and I was just trying to go back to sleep. Sometimes I would turn on my car and just leave it on, especially when it was that cold. It was fine. It hardly wasted any of my gas, and my car is pretty quiet. So I just would do that. So I'm trying to go back to sleep, and for some reason, I must have sensed something. I look out my passenger side window, which at this time did not have anything covering it. Unfortunately, the reflex or whatever they're called that fit your car perfectly did not fit mine perfectly. I think they sent a different model for my car. The only thing that worked was the windshield and the little corners that go in the little tiny windows on the side. Now, I had gotten um, tinted windows done before I left. So my back windows, my rear window were very dark. The side window passenger was pretty dark, and then of course the side window for my seat was somewhat dark. And without a phone on, you really can't see in there. Like you can see anything except for shade, like dark shade. Like it's pretty uh you know dark in there. So I did have one fold out flip window thing on this side of of where I sit. So right by my face, there you couldn't see anything. So I look over, the guy is standing there. Um, Scared the crap out of me. I'm like, oh man, what's going on here? Am I not allowed to turn on my car? Because he is security. So I thought, what did I do now? Because I was already kind of frustrated with staying at this place. They were a little, because I wasn't some rich RVer. I wasn't going to buy anything at this time. I mean, maybe in the future if I ever make that kind of money. Um, so I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I just wanted to see if you wanted to get a coffee and get warm. I was like, no, I'm trying to go to sleep. Like, I was really groggy. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I saw your phone on. So, or I saw your phone on. Like, he basically stated that he saw my phone on. So I was just checking to see if you wanted some. I'm like, and I just rolled up my window. I was just like, oh my God. And the thing was, I never had my phone on. So he was outright lying. I just felt like, I just went to sleep. I was freaked out a little, but I went back to sleep. Locked, my car was locked, and I just woke up the next day, and I thought maybe I should report this because I mean, you don't go, I mean, you should have enough sense not to go up to a single female traveling by herself in the middle of the night and ask that if you aren't having bad intentions. So, um, I reported it when I left, and they basically said what I thought about the guy, that he was a little bit off, and that not in a bad way, just, a little slow, but friendly, like overly friendly. And that's the reason he did what he did. And I told them, well, as a single female traveler, that was really a scary experience for me. And I just thought I wouldn't want anybody else to go through that because that was scared me. And so they said they reported to management. They said they had never gotten any reports or anything. It's like, okay. And then I was at a truck stop, and some guy, and this is like after I had taken a shower. My hair was down like it is now, only it wasn't done yet. It was still wet. And because I have to leave it down in order to get like this kind of, thing going on. Not that I think I look all that great or anything, but here comes another creeper. And he was trying to talk to me, and he was this, well, older, balding, beer belly man with glasses that just, I mean, I hate to sound stereotypical, but it's like the guy they would cast in a movie about the guy who kidnapped the girl down the lane or took a woman, like he just looked the part. And I just tried to blow him off. He eventually said something really creepy to me, which was, "Oh, I was watching you walk in the parking lot," or something like that. Like I was watching you, like um, or I saw you earlier in the parking lot walking. That's what he said. And I was like, okay, that's really creepy. And I just eventually, I had headphones on. I don't know why this guy was trying to talk to me. So, I eventually just, um, got away from him and stayed away from him. Yeah, so those were the two creep incidents that I had on the road. And then I got the dreaded knock within my first couple of weeks out on the road, my only 2 weeks out on the road. Um, it was towards the end when I was in San Francisco. I had gone to the Circle K that I saw as a truck stop online, and which normally those aren't truck stops, but apparently this one was. On my way, I saw Speedway, which was on the other side, behind it, like over a little bit. And I stopped there first, but it was really trashy. And there were, some homeless people there, and I just didn't feel very safe there. So I thought, well, I'll go check out the Circle K. So I went over there. It was pretty empty actually. There were truckers there, like behind, and I always feel safe with the truckers around, and they make me feel comforted. And I thought, well, at least nobody's here. I think I'd rather nobody be here than, that other situation over at that other station. So I just got my drink, got my food, got in the car. I was there for 2 or 3 hours. It was getting late, and all of a sudden, I hear a knock on the door. This is after I did hear one lady who was outside my um, car screaming. I don't know if she was, or not screaming, but yelling. She was like, I don't know if she was yelling on the phone, yelling at herself, but she was there quite a while, and I couldn't make out what she was saying. I was just like, good Lord, please let this lady go away. Not that I was really scared of her, but, So, there were random homeless people that came through there once or twice, but most of them were over at the other station. Um, so the guy knocking on my window was the manager, and he told me that basically, I couldn't stay. He was being watched. The owner doesn't want me to stay there. I'm not allowed to stay, and I really thought I was because it was an overnight for truckers. I thought it was okay. There were no signs. There was nothing saying, "Oh, this is private property," blah blah blah. Which they're all private property, so I think. Anyways, I don't know the legalities of the wording for that stuff. So I went ahead and left and went back to the Speedway. It was fine and everything, but it was just like, really, I've had two creepers, a knock on the window, like all the dreaded things that you hear about in car life within 2 weeks of me being on the road. And the other thing that really bothered me is having to get up in the middle of the night in the cold, going to the bathroom, and hoping that and that's something else that happened. That station, the Speedway station, both times I got up in the middle of the night, the bathroom was closed, and I had to drive all the way back over to the Circle K to use that bathroom. I was like, this is nuts. Um, yeah, and also they didn't have like water. Like there was a Starbucks there, but it wasn't always open. So it just was crazy. The last 2 nights in San Francisco were pretty crazy. I really wish I could have stayed at um a different place because that was pretty awful. But there was just no truck stops around, and You know, I was scared to stay in the downtown area or anywhere near the city because of all the warnings. And I mean, San Francisco's really crazy. It's just crazy. It's just a lot of streets and buildings cramped all together. It is nothing like here. All right, I've rambled on too much, but I wanted to tell that story. Um, I think I'm gonna have start just uploading videos every day, maybe talking about my experiences and other things. Trying to grow my channel. So even though I'm not on the road, I still want to try to grow it. And of course, there'll be the traveling videos coming soon. Bye.